Hi, welcome to today's video. Today's video takes me back to my uni days. And it's interesting because this is one of those topics that I was very keen back in while I was doing my coursework. And this is because today we're discussing a theory. But back in uni, I remember a lot of my coursework involved theories because it is about knowing people and understanding their behaviors and knowing how to get information to them and how to have them retain that information. And to know that you had to understand a lot of the things behind those people. Now, I loved my units that involved theories because, of course, number one, it was in the coursework and it was one of my favorite things to read on. And number two, because it was examinable. And if you know how, if you know how these theories were one of those, the easiest questions to give you 100% grades if you know what you're discussing. Now, let's get back to the video today. Today, we are going to discuss the black coffee theory. And upon my research, I came across this is a theory and it's also a rule. So there's the black coffee theory and there's the black coffee rule. And we'll look at both of them. Let's look at the black coffee theory. Let's begin with that. The black coffee theory, in case you're wondering, I have my notes here, just like back in my uni days. You had to have your notes to know where and how that theory is applicable and how do you apply it well in the exam room, but also in real life. So let's get into the black coffee theory. Let's start with that. The black coffee theory is a mindset concept that has been made popular by these two guys, Sahil Bloom and Ankur Wariko. And what it's saying, the story behind it is you go to a coffee shop and the barista asks you, what do you want? And your reply is, I don't know, but I don't want the black coffee. And black coffee, as we all know, is no sugar, no milk. Keep that in mind. Now, the barista goes and then later comes again and asks you the same question. And your reply is still that I don't know, but I don't want the black coffee. Later on, when the barista has done other people's orders, they come back to you and this time they bring the black coffee because, in essence, that is what they kept, that's what kept repeating in their head. They don't know what you ordered, but what they kept hearing is the black coffee. So that's how you end up with a black coffee. This theory is tied to the law of attraction. But before I get into the, the 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 connection between this theory and the law of attraction, let's take it back to 1987, where Daniel Wegner, a Harvard researcher, had a theory that is the ironic process theory. And what this theory is, it's the deliberate attempt to suppress a thought may intentionally amplify it. That is what Daniel is saying. When you try to suppress a thought, that will then give it room for it to amplify it more. And how did he know that? Because he put in a room, he put students and he gave them a test, and the test was not to think about the white bear. And in another, he put students and he did not give them instructions. When they were all put together in the same room, this group that had been put and they were told not to think about the white bear, the white bear kept appearing in their thoughts. And so they had a bell where if you thought about the white bear, you'd ring that bell. And so that is how they came up with, when you try to, when you deliberate, when you, the deliberate attempt to suppress a thought may intentionally amplify it, because you've been told not to think about the white bear, then automatically it becomes something you think about. This theory, the black coffee theory, is basically saying focus your energy on the things you want, not on the things you don't want. In the law of attraction, as is given in the book The Secrets. If you've not read that book, you could read that book or watch the movie. It's on Prime. What it's saying is, if you're into abundance, journaling, manifestation, gratitude, all of these things, they are tied to the law of attraction. And if you're into this, you know very well what they say. If you want something, you have to be very specific, very clear about it, very clear about how you want to get it, very clear about how you will get it, very clear about how you want it to come to you. That is the basis of this theory. The black coffee theory, in essence, is saying, you see, when at the beginning, when I told the story, it was when you are asked and you say, I don't know, but I don't want the black coffee. What you're saying is you're not making an order. You're not making an order. You're just saying you don't want the black coffee. There's no order that you've made. You don't know what type of coffee you want. You probably know you want A type of coffee, but you know you don't want B, the black coffee. Anyway, this theory, the black coffee theory, what it is saying at the core of it is focus on the things that you want, not on the things that you don't want. Because when you focus on the things that you don't want, the universe is going to give you those things because that is where your energy is more focused on. Have a vivid image of what you want. Like I said, in the law of attraction, in the book The Secrets. The Secrets is basically you have this knowledge. Every time we're told when you want something, Paulo Coelho said, when you want something, the universe works in your favor. It works towards giving it to you. Now, in manifestation, in the book, the secret book, this information we have it, but how to apply it is we don't know how to apply it. When you're given this blank information, when you're told don't focus on what you don't want, that in that statement you don't know how to take it because you're not given step by step of how to apply it. Well, the theory gives you the step to step about how to apply it, but the book The Secrets now is the information that you have, then how do you apply it? You could check that out. So in this black coffee theory, bottom line is focus on the things that you want, not on the things that you don't want. And that means rewriting the language that you use because thoughts becomes things. In fact, Sahil Bloom has written in his article, because when you go look at this theory up, he's more likely to come up a lot of times. He has quoted Lao Tzu, and Lao Tzu says, watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. Your thoughts are like create a domino effect into what then you ask of the universe. It he says your thoughts are your order to the universe. And so when you focus your thoughts on the things that you don't want, the example they give, because again, I say this is a mindset concept. The example they give is if you're saying you don't want to be broke, in your mind, you think, I don't want to be broke. That is what your mind is saying. But you'll be broke because the language, the order, your thoughts are not given the frequency of not being broke. You don't want to be broke. Therefore, your language has to shift around not being broke. So that now whatever is rings in your mind is not, I don't want to be broke. It's something along the lines of, I want to attract wealth. This is how I want to attract wealth, whatever, whatever. I sound like a motivational speaker. Basically, this theory is saying focus your energy on the things that you want. Be clear about them. Be specific about them. If you're into journaling, if you're into manifestation, if you're into all of these concepts that you hear people say, the the one thing they say is be clear. be specific, because then that gives the universe the grace or the permission to give you then that which you want. Because by saying I don't know but not black coffee, what you're saying is give me the black coffee, and you probably want another type of coffee. So make your order from the list of I do. This is what I want, not from the list of I don't want. Make your order from the list of this is what I want, this is how I want it to come to me. Have a clear vision, have a clear mindset, be clear, be specific, is basically what this theory is saying. And it is tied to, this theory is also tied to the ironic process theory by Harvard researcher Daniel Wegner in 1987. And in this theory, he says the deliberate attempt to suppress a thought may intentionally amplify it. When you want to intentionally stop doing something, in a way, you're making it become more, it becomes more, it's like you start thinking about it more and more, because that is where your energy is focused. So stop thinking about things that you don't want and start thinking about things that you want. And while thinking about those things that you want, make it clear, make it specific, because a life built entirely around what you don't want is a life controlled by it. Now, I began the video by saying that there's the black coffee theory and there's the black coffee rule. So we've looked at the black coffee theory. Hopefully I've made it understandable to you in the least uncomplicated language possible. Now let's get to the rule. The black coffee rule. The black coffee rule is about seeing things the way they are. What you see is what you get. I know we love this saying. We love to tell people this saying, but that is when it comes to us. When we are showing them who we are, we love to say what you see is what we get. But I don't think a lot of the times we sit and think from the other person's perspective. We give a lot of people grace, we try to add sweeteners to things that are causing us harm. Let me read my notes so that we get to understand the black coffee rule. It means stop adding sugar or milk to disguise toxic, painful, or wrong situations. Now, the black coffee, we know black coffee is definitely no sugar, no milk. And it says, don't lie to yourself. Accept things as they are. Choose what fits naturally. If you don't like it in its pure form, then it's probably not for you. And in this rule, the black coffee rule, like I said, it's about seeing things the way they are without adding the what ifs, the maybes, the possibility, without giving them the possibility, seeing things for what they are, not what you want them to be, not adding possibilities to them, not what ifing the situation is. This situation has been presented to me like this, then that is how I choose to see it. As women, let me talk to my gender. A lot of the times we want to give people grace for a lot of the things that they do to us, but they were probably in a bad mood, and sometimes, and a lot of the times, those things come to bite us in the ass later because we did not take them for what they were. We made possibilities out of those things. We made excuses for those things. We created a lot of what ifs and a lot of possibilities around those situations. But this behind, the black coffee theory, what it's saying is don't sweeten what is hurting you. Sugar does not transform the thing itself, it only helps you swallow it longer. I'll repeat that. Sugar does not transform the thing itself, it only helps you to swallow it longer. When you continue giving excuses and giving people a pass for their behaviors, eventually you begin to resent them. But if only you had taken them for how they showed you in the first place, So this theory and this rule, the rule is about seeing things for what they are, not adding any flavors to the situation, not adding any sweetness to the situation, not trying and going the route of what ifs, the possibilities, the probabilities, the maybe someday. No. If this is in fact, they use this in, say, relationships, romantic or even platonic. People show you who they are. I know we have had this a lot of times. People show you who they are. But a lot of us want to add into, but this is, but what if they were not, where they were in a bad mood? What the possibility, maybe. But this rule is saying, take things as they are. Don't try to add sugar to those things. Don't try to justify those things. They showed you shege the first time. Be sure they will show you shege another time. They showed you madness one time. They will show you madness the second time. So that is what the rule is saying. Take things as they are. Don't lie to yourself. Don't try to hypothesize the situation. Take things as they are. And for the theory, focus your energy on the things that you want, not on the things that you don't want. And that means restructuring the language that you use even in your thoughts. By saying, I don't want this, it means in the language of the universe, that is what you want because you're focusing your energy on those things. So, what have we learned about the black coffee theory? Focus your energy on the things you want. Be very clear, be very specific. And on the black coffee rule, take things as they are. Don't try to hypothesize them. Don't try to sweeten them because as I've read here, it says sugar does not transform the thing itself. It only helps you swallow it longer. And that's a word. It reminds me of this tweet that I saw the other day, actually today. And it was, give me the harshest truth. That tweet that always goes around almost every month of the year. And this user says, keep your problems smaller than your life. A flat tire is a flat tire. A bad meeting is a bad meeting. A cancelled flight is just an extra 2 hours. These things become catastrophes when you let them. But they stay manageable when you remember the depth of your real life, the people you love, the work you care about, the beautiful years still ahead. Zoom out, fit your reaction to the size of the problem. I think that ties into the black coffee rule. See things as they are. Don't try to make a mountain out of a molehill. Is that the saying? Don't try to think things that are not there. In fact, that is what the tweet is saying. So keep your problems smaller than your life. Fit your reaction to the size of the problem. In conclusion, for the black coffee theory, focus your energy on the things that you want. The black coffee rule, see things as they are. Do not try to hypothesize them or do not try to add things to situations to make you and them feel better. Anyway, this has taken me back to those days in uni when I was reading about theories. I loved them. I think I'll look for more theories so that we can discuss. You could add on to it as well. Go do your research as well and add to whatever it is that we have discussed today. Or as I conclude for the black coffee theory, I've said it is titled The Law of Attraction and the book The Secrets. Please go read that book or watch that film because You have the information of things, especially things to do with mindset and manifestation and journaling and gratitude. You have the knowledge, but I don't think you know how to apply that. A lot of us, we probably don't know how to apply it. So, yeah, please read that book. Please watch that film and see things as they are and focus your energy on the things that you want, not the things that you don't want. I'll see you on the next one. But until then, bye.